Hey there, welcome back to FitLab. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and talk to you a little bit about what makes FitLab so unique and special, and give you an idea of some principles that we apply that really do separate us from the rest of the fitness community. If we look at the way every organizing personal training body, whether it be NASM, NSCA, ACSM, ACE, whoever it may be, when they define fitness, they talk about 5 components to fitness. They're looking at strength, flexibility, body composition, basically your muscle to fat ratio, muscular endurance, and cardiovascular endurance. That composes fitness to them. In my experience, I've felt it necessary to include 3 more dimensions on top of that. The 6th is balance, or proprioception, basically your body's ability to know where it is in space. Balance cannot be included into a fitness regimen enough. By age 30, for men and women, it is rapidly digressing, as probably many of you have noticed. It is, to me, the single most important part of a fitness regimen, depending on goals, but can be included, and as you will see later on in the video sequence, I include it extensively into my personal practice. The 7th would be mobility. In my experience, I have come to see that mobility and flexibility are very, very different. And let me give you an example. I have a 75-year-old client who's one of the most flexible people I've ever worked with. I can take her foot and do a hamstring stretch and bring her foot almost behind her head if I'm not careful. Incredibly flexible. But when she moves, she doesn't have a lot of mobility. She doesn't have a lot of joint mobility. So the movement is very restrictive. Mobility is talking about the 3-dimensional ability of your body. What is the functionality of my body? So mobility has to be incorporated into a fitness regimen. Much different than flexibility. Different way of training than flexibility. Last but not least is mindfulness. So what do I mean by that, and how do we practice that, and why is mindfulness, I believe, kind of like the package that it's all encased in. Mindfulness basically means the amount of attention, awareness, mindfulness that I have about my external and internal environment while exercising. So let me give you an example. What we see that's pretty common practice these days in the health clubs is 25 flat screens on the wall with CNN and Fox blaring their news reports constantly, and people with headsets watching TV, getting more and more distracted as they're exercising, paying very little attention to what it is that they're doing, all possibly, I guess, to avoid any kind of discomfort while exercising, or just being so busy in their minds that they just want to blow through a workout, burn off 400 or 500 calories, and go home. If we look at the harmful effect of that it really causes 2 things. And in other videos, I'll talk extensively about what stress is doing to the body, in ways that we can learn to cope with stress, and ways that we don't want to cope with stress. One of the ways that we don't want to cope with it is to do just what I had mentioned, where when I'm exercising, I'm actually increasing stress levels on my body. If I am also watching TV or listening to some kind of headbanging music, I'm probably elevating my heart rate more than needs to be. I'm making more stress. So if I do this, it can have a harmful physiological effect. It can raise cortisol levels that destroys muscle tissue, that increases or decreases fat metabolism, on and on. It's a chain of events that you do not want to get involved in. So what I really try to project when I'm exercising is I'll choose music, if I'm listening to it, that allows me to stay concentrated on what it is that I'm doing. I want to be completely and totally focused on the moment. I want to build a neural connection between basically my imagination, the way I'm setting up the exercise, the way I see the exercise, and the physical manifestation of how it's happening on the outside. I connect these two things with my breathing so that every movement has breath. I'm never holding my breath. And as you see in later videos, I'll talk more about breathing, breath work, the importance of breath work, and how I can utilize it in my exercise. So every single movement, very important to understand, has some form of breath work, some form of connection to my mind's eye, where I'm imagining the shape of the movement, I'm connecting it with my breath, and then I see a physical manifestation of it happening on the outside. So repetitions do not mean to make different. They mean to repeat. And it is basically saying, I want to chase perfection. I don't want sloppy movement. If I put crap into my body, I get crap out. It's just like a computer. If I put crap in my computer, I'm going to get crap back out of my computer. My computer is going to break. So very important to understand that as you're exercising, as you're moving, as hard as it may be, pour yourself into it. Feel everything. Be in the moment, as cliche as that may seem. And the way you do that is by imagining the exercise you're getting ready to do before you do it. As I perform the exercise, I connect my mind and body together with my breath. So usually, as I'm moving into the exertion phase, I'm breathing out. If I'm pushing, I'm breathing out. If I'm pulling, I'm breathing out. And the opposite side of that is the resting phase, or the lengthening eccentric phase, where I'm normally breathing in. Pilates does it a little bit differently, but for the most part, when you're dealing with resistance and exercise, I'm breathing out through the exertion phase. So the 8 components of fitness that we teach here at FitLab. So take that, apply it to your workouts, and hopefully it'll help you out. Thanks.